Back at it again. Strength we trust. It's your co-host Mike Sept. It's my boy here.
Rashawn English.
Yeah, we happy to be back again. Another episode coming up for you guys, talking all things strength, health, and wellness, and everything in between. We're cruising here, man. Brick by brick, we're getting better, getting smoother.
Man, we're getting some momentum now.
We're getting
I'm
getting a
feeling
little
like
groove.
I'm really podcasting now.
Oh, no, like we're in the space now. We're in the world, and we're loving it. And we're excited to go with another episode with you guys. Today, we're going to be focusing on all things balance. And we don't want that to just talk about just strength training, right?
We're not talking about like balancing on one leg. We're actually
Exactly.
talking about like balancing out all the things in your life.
Exactly. And we want just to bring it all home, right? Balancing what you're doing in the gym, balancing what you're doing outside the gym, balancing relationships, balancing food, balancing maintaining stress, like all those things that just go on with your fitness journey and just how to tie all that stuff in.
Yeah, because balance is not something you find. It's something that you have to create. So we really want to make sure that you understand that and take the initiative to creating that balance with all the different things that you're juggling in your life.
Absolutely. So I think first and foremost, because like this is what we do, and when it comes to training, right, is how to balance training in whatever you're doing, whether it's your strength training, your metabolic work, your conditioning, whether you're powerlifting, whatever your skill is that you're doing, how do you balance that out and how your program should look like, whether you're somebody who goes to the gym 3 days a week, 5 days a week, 1 day a week, whatever the case may be, and just to give you like a little gist of like how your program or layout should be.
Yeah,
right?
because it's not just the workouts; it's also the mobility. And
Yep.
then with the workouts, there are cardiovascular workouts, there are
Yep.
strength workouts. I mean, we're pushing you to do more strength, but cardio has a place in your program. What does that look like depending on where you are? And that's what we're going to get into.
Right. So, say I like to break it down just within the single workout, right? Like somebody steps into the gym, they want to work on strength, they want to encompass some type of metabolic and conditioning work. How much time do they need to spend? Where their focus should be, and things of that nature. So, when we're stepping into the gym, first and foremost, we need to prep our tissue and our joints for whatever the movement is going to be for that particular day. So that's where the mobility and the soft tissue work and anything of that nature is going to come into play. I usually would say around that 8 to 12 minute mark is where you want to spend on just getting the body prehabbed and prepped for whatever that exercise or workout is going to pertain to that day. Now, there's a lot of ways we go about it as coaches.
Yeah, and it depends on what movement practice that you're about to get into, right? So let's say you're doing a lower body day, then you don't need to spend as much time mobilizing your shoulders. Maybe a little bit, don't neglect them, but if you're pressed for time, just focus on your lower body. Focus on opening up the hips, focus on mobilizing the ankles, and when you're done with that part of things, then you'll feel better going into your workout. The tissues will be warm, the joints will be a little bit more mobile. Your whole body should be warm. You want to get like a light sweat if you can, and then you're ready for work.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to shortchange the mobility aspect of things. You don't want to underdo it or underwork it. A lot of times, I feel like there's not the same effort put into the prehab work that there is into the actual workout. And a lot of
Some people are unfamiliar with what prehab is.
Exactly.
So you do prehab so you don't end up in rehab.
I love that. Yeah, that's perfect. And I think people undermine it a little bit and don't realize the positive effect it'll have on their lifts. Like, if you're trying to squat 100 pounds the first time and you've only been doing 95, and you're trying to crack whatever that window is, it's like it might be your prehab work that you're missing.
Yep.
Right? Your tissue is just not prepped enough and has not been broken down enough to pre-squat for you to hit that landmark that you're missing. And that's why I said I think like it has to be a major focus, and you got to put the same effort into it just like you would on the strength training.
Yeah, because you know what? Imagine if you're going in the gym after work, you've been sitting down all day. Your hips are probably stiff. If you don't give yourself time to warm up, then you're not maximizing your output. You're leaving some strength on the table, and you're not going to be able to perform optimally because you neglected that 10 to 15 minutes to loosen up your hips, warm up the tissue, and neurologically and mentally get in the state that you need to be in to perform at a high level.
There you go. And so once you've done all that and you've made that like a regular habit before you started getting into your strength work, now it's time to lift, right? And when it comes to programming, whether it's your lower body day, upper body day, or it's a mixture of both, I always like to program around 2 to 3 primaries that you're going to have for each workout, whatever that may be, right? If you're having a lower body day, you're going to do some form of a major hinge work, right? Which is just folding from the hip. One major form of like knee dominancy, where your knee is the leading driver of your bending, or your knee is your leading driver where you bend from, and then some type of accessory to that, right?
And if
Very
you're
easy
doing,
way to think about
and
that.
in if you're doing total body, do whatever is going to be the biggest movement. Like for my
Yes.
Olympic lifters, like you should start with your snatch, right? That's going to be the
Your biggest compound movement that you're going to be able to do with the barbell, and then you break everything down subsequently from there. But for like the regular person going into the gym, what's the biggest movers? Their hips and their knees.
And if you don't know, because you're not exercise junkie like we are, what's the hardest movement that you're going to do in that workout? Do it first.
Exactly. So yeah, whatever that primary movement is, you want to make sure you're focusing your work and working your accessory stuff off of that first primary movement that you're doing within your workout. And then once you get that done, now it becomes a little bit easier to think about what the rest of your workout looks like, right? Because if my first movement for the day is a deadlift, right? Whether it's within a trap bar, with a dumbbell, with a kettlebell, whatever your skill set is, that's fine. Now I've had that hinge and I've worked my hips. Now, what's the accessory to that? I need to work something with my knees. So what are you going to do? Lunges, step ups, something of that nature. So we want to make it really easy for you guys to be able to balance out what your workout should look like. So you have your mobility work for your first 8 to 12 minutes. Then you'll have your 20 to 30 minutes of strength where you're working one primary and then 2 to 3 accessory movements off of that, which should take you through that 20 to 30 minute mark that we're talking about. And then we're left with that last block, which is going to be your conditioning aspect, right? And for your conditioning work, we can attack this a bunch of different ways, right? I've had clients where we're just doing interval work on a treadmill, we're using something like the row machine, the ski erg, or we're doing some type of loaded metabolic work, right? There's many different ways that you can attack it, but it's just the structure of it. If the structure looks the same consistently, that's where the results are going to happen. That's where the adaptation is going to happen.
You want to have that consistency. So then after that, you just plug and play.
There you go.
You find different exercises. You play with different exercises. You find out what works well for your body, what your body adapts to the best, and then you just insert those. And then if you find something that you want to try out, just plug it in, see how it fits, and then adjust from there. Because your workouts are going to adapt to your current life circumstances. So it's not going to be the same workout that you did 10 years ago that you're going to be doing now. But the structure could more or less stay the same. And notice the time that it's going to take.
Yep.
You could be in and out and get a solid workout in an hour.
100%.
Yeah, like try to get it done in an hour unless you have the time. You can do more, you can do less, but I feel like an hour is a sweet spot. After you go past an hour, especially if you're not fueled or fueling during your workout, then you're just doing junk sets because you're burnt out. You've run out of gas and you're just doing like junk sets.
You're not getting the feedback and adaptation that you're looking for that you were getting about
it's
an hour
time to
ago.
get out, and you feel that towards the end of the workout where you're just like moving to move.
Right.
At that point, it's time to hang it up, go home, refuel.
Exactly. So that's the basic structure. Like Rashawn was saying, is your template doesn't necessarily have to change over time. Like even for somebody like myself, and I've been training now for 10 plus years, the template really hasn't changed very much. How I've inserted different tools into that template, that's changed greatly, right? I've learned different skill sets. I've adapted different skill work with the bar, without the bar. I've increased different capacities of different things. So my inserts have changed, but the template has necessarily been the same, right? I haven't really changed the template very much. And so we just want you to understand that is like once you start on your journey and you get this general template like we're giving you, that's fine. But now as you get better and you grow, you lift more weight, you learn new skills, insert those new skills as you go along. And then see, you're still going to get the feedback that you're looking for. That's not going to change. So
No,
that's
not
great.
at all.
That's perfect. Now when we're talking about now gearing, the workout's done now, right? And now we have to find a balance in food. We need our fuel now, right? And how do we balance that in our nutrition? A lot of the word that gets thrown around a lot is your macros, right? Like your major nutrients that we all need, and how much of it do we need? Now,
and if you don't know what the macros are,
there you go.
There are 3 macros. You have your proteins, your fats, your carbs.
Yep. And that's pretty much what you're basing everything that you're going to eat off of, those macros. Now, if you're somebody who's looking to build muscle, your protein intake should be your leading factor in your macros. Now, there's a lot of templates on how that looks, right? If it's somebody that's just starting out, they're going to want you to be around that like 50 to 60% range of your caloric intake should be your protein source. For others who are in maintenance times where they just want to keep where they're at, you might be around that 50 to 40% range, but you're still going to base around your protein intake being your first priority of calories.
And what you can do too, so like the general population, when I say general population who doesn't love to work out and is looking at how much protein, what does that look like? About 0.5 grams per pound of body weight. So if you're 180 pounds, then you need about 90 grams of protein. And it's a lot. Most people are coming up short there. If you're somebody who works out, 3 to 4 days a week, you're probably going to need to go closer to 0.7. If you're somebody who's working out pretty aggressively, like when I'm in an intense training block, I'm shooting for more like a gram of protein per pound of body weight. And I'm about 200 pounds, so it's 200 grams of protein. Like, it's really hard to get that in for me. So a great hack is just protein shakes. If you aren't drinking protein shakes right now, I think that's something that you should consider, because it's just an easy way to just get those nutrients that you need that you're probably falling short on. And we've talked about protein in the past before.
Yeah, we've had like full conversations on that. So we don't need to dive too much into like protein itself. It's just the balance of it in comparison to the other major macros, right? Like
eat it first.
Eat it first.
So you don't end up like consuming all your carbs or just drinking a bunch of like juice, and then you're not eating food anymore.
Exactly. And so it doesn't mean that carbohydrates and fats and healthy fats of that nature don't have a place in your nutritional game plan, because they are there and you do want to eat them. You don't want to completely avoid them. Like, anytime that you completely avoid a macro, there's going to be some type of deficiency that occurs down the road. We never want to just completely get rid of a macro, right? Now, like Rashawn was saying, once you've built out that protein intake appropriately, now you can start filling in like your carbohydrates, and you can fill in your fats, your fruits, your vegetables, and things of that nature. But once you have that main source of protein, it makes things a lot easier to build out around from.
Yeah, like every meal.
Yeah, exactly.
Start with your protein.
Exactly. So your macros are just a huge component, and that's what we mean about finding balance within your nutrition. Make sure that you are basing it off of your protein intake, balancing it out with the rest of your carbohydrates and your healthy fats, making sure that you're hydrating appropriately. You're not just drinking all of your calories all the time. They're a good supplement to if you're missing something, but you don't want that to be a mainstay for your caloric intake. At the end of the day, we want to eat real food.
Have you seen the they have this thing, this jaw or size.
Jaws or size.
That's what it's called?
And it'd be like,
yeah. This because so the idea behind it, the thought behind it is that since a lot of us are drinking so many smoothies and we're eating these soft foods, that the muscles in our jaw become weaker, and that impacts everything else, because everything works interdependently, right? So if you can have a weakness in the muscles in your lower body and it affects your shoulder, everything's all connected, and the muscles around your jaw are very powerful, important muscles. So they came out with this tool, and you're supposed to like chew it, and it's supposed to completely change.
We're gonna have like a clip of it going on as we're talking about it with some dude jaw-sizing. That would be good.
I'll be honest, I ordered it.
Oh,
I ordered it. Yep, I'm guilty. I am the guy with the Toastmasters and the weird things at home, and my wife does judge me, but I don't pressure her to do any of it. But I'm just curious. I gotta try this stuff out. That's the only way. Like,
that's funny,
if you don't try it, you can't hate on it. So
yo, God bless, man. God bless.
I haven't started yet.
We both can't be out here jaw-sizing. No, that ain't a good look.
No, you got a strong jawline already. Like, you don't need.
I'm good money.
You don't need. I don't want to. Yo.
Exactly.
Mike, you gonna come in here with veins in your jaws? I'm like, yo, bro, chill out,
relax,
chill out.
Oh my God! All right, yo, that's crazy. So,
my bad.
Nah, that's good.
Sorry.
It got me in tears. But no, like really, like Rashawn was saying, I actually have a cool point to that though. I know we're laughing about it, but they've actually had studies where they were looking at like jaw strength and the development of our canines over the last few generations and how they've gotten weaker.
Yeah.
Right? And you see people's canines. If you look at like old pictures that they have of like in the 1800s and like early 1900s, like people's canines were actually more pronounced in their teeth over generations. Like we even see babies now, they actually don't even really have canine teeth development anymore.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're not,
Not
because
it.
there's no need for it, right? We're drinking all of our food. We're not tearing any food apart with our
I'm
teeth.
about to go get Axel a steak
Go
right
get
now.
him a steak,
I'm
man.
about to order.
Or get him a mean chew toy. Like, yo, you're going to chew on this, bro. We're going to have to strengthen this up. But no, it's a real thing. They've done a couple studies recently. I got to find out where they were, but I definitely came across them. And you can literally see, like, canine development hundreds of years ago in comparison to now.
Yeah.
It's significantly different.
That's really interesting.
Because there's no need for it as much anymore. So like you said, like if we don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
100%. Muscles and generations, they go hand in hand. Now, once you've found all that balance in nutrition, now this is where I think, personally, this is where I think a lot of people miss, because I think they don't think it's important in terms of their weight loss journey or their fitness journey, is their relationships and the balance in their relationships and how people around them affect their journey, right? Some people are going to be stressors. Some people are going to be, they're going to feed into your journey. Some people might want to take away from your journey. And like, how do you balance all of that out? And I think that's a very difficult thing for most people to deal with, because some people might be a priority in their life, but they don't positively affect.
Or some people could just have been around for so long, it feels like they need to be there, but they don't need to be there. You could love people from a distance. That's okay. If they're not, you have people that are there for a season, and they have people that are there for a reason, right? The people that are there for a reason, you keep those relationships close to you. You nurture those relationships.
Absolutely.
They're going to encourage you to be a better version of yourself in every way. Like because energy is so contagious, like I'm very selective about who I let into my space, because if you're toxic energy, I don't want to be around you.
1000%.
If we don't have synergies, like if I don't feel uplifted after our conversations, then I don't want to have the dialogue. I'm okay. Like I have a lot of good people around me. I got my family, I got my friends, I have my wife, I got my son. He's not talking yet. He's trying to, but like I have the important relationships that I need around me. So anybody else that is going to take away from that, no, thank you. I'm good.
And that's exactly what we're talking about. Like, if you don't have people around you who are feeding into your journey or this positive outlook that you're trying to build on life, you got to be able to mitigate a lot of that, man. You got to be able to keep people in certain boxes and, talk to them as you need be, but you got to find that balance. You can't allow people who are negatively affecting your journey or your space and get in the way of your progress.
Yeah, you don't have to show up to every event or show up for everybody. It's okay to say no. Some advice when saying no, do it early. Don't say, let me think about it, or yeah, say no if in your gut, in your soul, it doesn't feel right. Just say no. You could lie to them. I'm not telling you that's the right thing to do, but find a way to say no. Find a way to say no and free up more of your time, because there's other things, other people that are more important that you need to give that time to.
And I'm not sitting here saying, like, we're not sitting here saying, like, don't have a social life, don't go out and have a great time, and don't surround yourself with good people and good energy. You have to do that stuff. That comes along with the balance.
Yeah, like I barely like Mike, but I needed him for the podcast. So
like, yo, I needed a partner, man. We gotta make it happen. But yo, we gotta find balance, man. Like, and we gotta just figure this thing out. And like, you got certain people for certain things, you keep them there. Like, don't let them affect anything that you're doing. If you got people around you who love to freaking work out, like, they're probably not the people who are going to go out drinking with you all the time. So guess what you do? You talk about working out with them. You talk about training with them. You make sure when it's time to work out, that's who you're surrounding yourself with. Don't mix.
Most of my people in my life work out.
Well,
the closest people in my life work out. And they don't have to be like fitness junkies like a lot of our friends, but they at least have to realize and recognize like that health and wellness is important and supports you no matter what phase of that you're in. If there anybody who's like, nah, you ain't got to do that, distance yourself.
I've been threatened, so
Yeah, we're not playing. You know what I mean?
I'm not playing with you.
But yeah, at the end of the day, man, we just want you guys to find balance. And we're going to tie it all back there. We just want you guys to have balance from the top to the bottom, from the left to the right? Whether it's your food, whether it's your workouts, whether it's your relationships, right? Whether it's your own personal self-care. Find balance in everything that you do, so that the journey that you're on is a positive one.
Yeah, and you'll see how, those little decisions that you make have a cumulative effect. Over time, you're going to look back and you're going to see how different your stress levels are, how different your mindset is, how different your body feels. But that requires you making those intentional decisions to not find it, to create that balance, like I said
Exactly.
earlier.
Exactly. Yeah. Nobody's gonna give you balance. You have to make it on your own.
Yeah, it's not just gonna happen.
No.
Yeah. So don't fool yourself.
Yeah.
Don't think that it's just gonna happen. You just gotta do this. No, intentionally start to take steps, even small ones, to create that life that you want, to find the structure that is gonna be the most advantageous for you
Yeah,
for the long haul.
100%. And that's a great way to tie it all back. We hope you guys liked everything that we were talking about today.
I hope it resonated with you.
Exactly.
I hope you got some gems from it.
Yep, exactly. I hope everything sticks. Like you said, we are full-time podcasting now, man.
Yeah,
We're really doing this.
We really do this, and we're not gonna stop.
We're really enjoying the process. We hope you guys are loving everything that we've been putting out so far. We appreciate
all
the
feedback,
support and feedback,
all the support.
Everything. It really means a lot to us. So continue
But wait,
to go,
the biggest support is subscribing to the podcast.
There you go. And I was just
Please
about to
do
follow that
for
up.
us.
Yeah. Give us a subscription on YouTube at Strength We Trust. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. We're on all platforms across the board. Don't forget about myself for once. I didn't forget this time, right? Mike Fit 19. You can follow me on all platforms. My boy Rashawn here.
Yep, Rashawn, not English. That's going to come down somewhere over here.
Yeah, we're going to be
so. Yeah, I love technology.
Exactly. And as always, man, Strength We Trust. And we'll catch you guys on another episode.
Peace.
Later.